Did you know there was a port for Counter-Strike on the original Xbox? Okay, of course you did. There's millions of videos about it. It's one of the most popular multiplayer games of all time. You've probably seen this box art at least once or twice. While a lot of these videos go through its development history, and it's a pretty interesting story really, a lot of them seem to be missing one key aspect: the multiplayer. Now, to no one's fault, of course, Xbox Live kind of did shut down in 2010. What are you gonna do? Play fucking Counter-Strike over X-Link, or are you just gonna go play 1.6 or fucking Go, or God forbid Source? When Counter-Strike on the Xbox first came out, I completely missed the boat. I was a squeaker on 1.0. Sorry about that. I didn't play any Xbox until about 2006. By the time I got Counter-Strike on the Xbox, I was long dead, and I basically fired it up, played it for a little bit, and went, wow, this is dog shit. And I basically never touched it again. That is until very recently, where a certain individual, Focus, dragged me back onto a service called Insignia. And lately I've been basically no-lifing Rainbow Six 3. However, it does have weekly events on their Discord. And there was a game that I was always constantly side-eyeing, just piquing my interest a little bit. Counter-Strike. I mean, I try to speedrun fucking Condition Zero. I'll just try anything Counter-Strike at this point. I fucking love this game, dude. So I figured it'd be pretty fun to take a look at Counter-Strike on the Xbox, just from a purely gameplay and mechanical standpoint. You know, just sitting down playing the game online. How does it feel? How does it compare? So yeah, we'll be talking about, you know, system mechanics and just general stuff about the port, and talking about the multiplayer. Basically, this is just going to be a 1.6 boomer who wants to ramble about Counter-Strike and how good Counter-Strike used to be. God, I wish classic events had never got C indeed. Okay, we'll just get this out of the way immediately. Yes, this is Counter-Strike on a controller. And yes, it fucking sucks. However, that's glossing over the fact that this is quite the amazing port of Counter-Strike. Well, okay, it kind of runs like shit. It's too dark and there's no gamma settings. You can't pick your faction. The new character models or the color schemes for the character models tend to blend in, or this just don't make sense. Like, why the fuck is the Arctic Commando green camo? It looks like a fucking CT. The bomb doesn't freeze time, which I'm confident was never a thing outside of maybe beta. But I mean, after 26 years, this game's just kind of blending together. The new maps kind of suck. Some maps are straight missing. Auto pickup can't be disabled. The radar has no transparency option. I can't change my crosshair color. I don't know why the edge of my screen glows. They have HDR bloom, which is around this time when Valve really liked bloom. They're putting it in fucking everything. But Jesus Christ, Valve, what the hell? Dude, it even has this iris thing where it's like, your eyes have to readjust from like going from dark to light, and dude, it affects flashbangs. What the fuck were they thinking? And yet, it's Counter-Strike. In fact, it's almost like a beta of Condition Zero. I mean, Bleed Scenes and Tour of Duty's missing, but it's Counter-Strike. That alone is remarkable. This was an era where games were being ported from PC, and when they made it to console, they had to make a lot of different sacrifices, and levels had to be adjusted. The game itself was changed. I mean, I've been playing so much Rainbow Six 3, but the console version is completely different from the PC version. And the fact that it's 95% here, it's frankly amazing. Honestly, it even has left hand. You can left hand in the console version. Holy shit. I mean, all those other things are fucking missing, which is completely weird, but hey, at least there's seal_right-hand0. That is cool. Oh hey, so while I was editing this video, I felt like I should point out the Half-Life 1 port on PS2. It is a very good port. It essentially acts like an HD remaster of Half-Life 1, except for it was made for a console. It even has mouse and keyboard support. I actually did play this one on stream. That's why you're seeing this cringy VTuber footage. Sorry about that. Gearbox was the developer on it in partnership with Valve, and at this point, they were also working on expansion packs for Half-Life 1. They worked on Opposing Force and Blue Shift. This was a time when Gearbox was really hitting their stride. I don't know what happened, but I do recommend this port as well. Yeah, I should just point that out. There's also this feature where you can actually take another Xbox and turn it into a dedicated server. I think a lot of Xbox games have that. I know Rainbow Six 3 does. I'm pretty sure the only real benefit is that it increases player count, and I guess the hit rag's better, probably just runs better in general, but that is cool. So you don't have to host it with just one player, and if that guy jets, that's it. You can actually have servers, and it has a server browser. What the fuck? The map selection is interesting. You have some of the usual suspects. Dust, Dust 2, Inferno, and Office, which apparently were DLC maps. Militia, Cobble, Aztec, Prodigy, Havana. Wait, no Nuke? No Assault? No Train? Yeah, there's some weird ones that were omitted from this game. Thank God they gave us fucking Airstrip. Where would we be without fucking Airstrip? Supposedly, there were 7 exclusive maps at launch, at least according to the back of the box. I think this included some maps that were in base condition 0, such as Stadium and Fastlane, but it seems at some point, either Turtle Rock or Valve themselves added a couple maps from the Xbox version into the Steam version of Condition 0. These include Bustock and Truth. Those weren't on the retail disc, but they are in the Steam version. However, one didn't make the jump. Miami. These new maps are okay. I think Stadium shows some promise. It would have been nice to try to actually play out the scrim on this back in the day. Corruption is interesting, but I think the mid area is a bit hard to play in. It feels kind of CT skewed that if you had good smokes and flashes, honestly, you get mid control pretty easily. The verticality doesn't really help the T's too much, so I feel like they kind of struggle if you're trying to go to A site. And B site has this weird like connector kind of off to the side, but it's just basically a choke point. And the only other way is outside, which is a complete clusterfuck. And the other maps are, I mean, I can take it or leave it. I do like Fastlane, but that's just because I'm a dirty fucking weed. Outside of that fact, Fastlane is a god-awful map. So that just leaves Miami. So what about Miami? Why did it never leave the Xbox? Because it's probably one of the worst maps ever fucking made. Okay, a bit of exaggeration. I know Siege existed, Iraq existed, but Miami, God, I fucking hate Miami. This map has a cool setting. CTs are basically trying to stop some bank heisters or something, but the layout is just awful. Basically, there's 2 main chokes. There's the office connector and the side hall connector. On the office side, CTs can just jump into this vent and loop that into the bathroom, which could flank the T's. However, T side gets there fast. You're bound to get nade stacked, tagged to death, or just straight opt. You could smoke this out, then you can go through the vent. But it's so slow. You're kind of stuck in that crouch animation while you're trying to go through the vent, and by the time you get out, you're either going to be fighting your way out into the bathroom, or you're basically walking into a long hallway that is just a long ass lane. And there's so many angles that the T's can kind of hold that one lane that it's just tough to break out. Okay, so that area sucks. Let's take the side hall going through the lobby. Now, if you make it through the lobby, a vent and a vent. Bro, holy fucking shit. And the hostage positions, what the fuck? 2 of them are in a closed off room, and they are split from the other 2 that are inside a vault. Look at this goddamn gap just trying to run out. Now that's just talking CT side, but even on T side, it just feels kind of confusing to play at first, and it doesn't really feel good to sit anywhere, if that makes sense. On T side, I never really feel like I have a very good hold of what's going on. It kind of just feels like I should be sitting in the hallway and waiting for the CTs to come. Why would I ever push? Look at this firing lane. This feels like someone tried to make like an Office 2, but with, you know, vague interpretations of what Office was. And the last map they played before an LSD-infused binge on Hammer Editor was Siege. The usual shticks of CS's gameplay are still here. Equipped weapons affect your walk speed, so, of course, everyone runs faster than like, oh hey, new knife. Crouch jumping is back, and crouching improves your accuracy. And that 1.6 bounce during crouch is still there. Interestingly, they actually mapped crouch to the left trigger. And of course this makes crouch jumping easier, but this also has the aside of making the bounce easier to do. Goodbye, mouse wheel down to crouch. Landing from a jump greatly slows movement, and you can actually still air strafe, and even bunny hop as you expect. Granted, this is obviously very hard to do on the controller, and I can't really do it, but I'm sure some legend has already figured it out. Wallbangs are still here, but it's closer to Condition Zero's wallbangs, which makes sense. These are Condition Zero maps after all, so there is more geometry just kind of in the way, and feels like things are thicker, if that makes sense. You seem to do a little less damage during wallbangs. Armor and helm still reduce, aim punch and reduce damage. Okay, you get it, it's 1.6. Even the spray patterns work the same, where it's kind of in between that deterministic / randomness, so you can't really nail the spray, but you can kind of predict it. You can even do the silencer glitch on both the USP and the M4. Oh, fun fact, there's actually a bug with the silenced M4 where the draw animation plays out faster than without a silencer in condition 0. And guess what? It's in the Xbox version. Valve, please fix. Over the years, folks have told me that the shotguns and the SMGs were way stronger in this version, and I'll get to perhaps why in a moment, but on the surface, weapons seem to behave pretty much the same. Oh, except for one weird change. A knife doesn't one-shot in the back anymore. Yeah, I don't know why either. Oh, another cool thing is the buy menu uses this radio buy menu that would later appear in CSGO. I'm sure you've already noticed it. Honestly, it's just cool to see the Xbox version had some sort of influence into the future of CS, really. That would make sense because CSGO started off as a port of Source to the console, but still, pretty cool to see. Oh, but you still have to buy your ammo, just as God intended. Oh, here's another weird thing I've noticed. For some reason, when you buy ammo for the Scout, it only comes at 10 at a time. It's also like 80 bucks, holy fuck. And funny enough, it's probably one of the hardest weapons to use in this fucking game. I don't know why they did this. So now that we've info dumped about the port, how does the online multiplayer feel? All right, to start off, I've been playing this online over Insignia with people from all over the world on both the UK and US based server. And I have to say overall, it feels fine to play on either at first. There's no obvious rubber banding. People aren't lagging around like you probably expect until the shooting starts. There's this, what I can only describe as slowdown, but feels more like a frame rate drop when you're shooting. It's one of the most bizarre things to get used to in this version of the game, and it still throws me off even after weeks of playing it. It almost feels like either the screen shake itself is causing frame rate issues, or maybe each shot needs to sync with the server or something. Almost like it's tied with the server's tick rate, I think? I tried to look up anything on its netcode, but couldn't find anything other than some talk that the Xbox version is using its own netcode separate from the PC version. To be honest though, it makes the game feel just straight awful to play online, which is the whole goddamn point of this version of the game. The only single player content it has is bot matches. I find myself struggling to get a feel of what's going on during gunfights, and I feel more like I'm kind of flailing blindly than trying to actually control spray, which is already pretty awkward on an analog stick. It also makes strafing between bursts way more cumbersome than it should. It sucks. It really, really sucks. I hate this so goddamn much. It drives me insane. It's part of the reason I made this fucking video. Luckily, this seems to stem from lag compensation. This issue is greatly reduced when I play on a connection closer to my region. And when I was testing on LAN, it does feel mitigated. But man, I'd rather be playing fucking CS Neo over Hamachi than this shit sometimes. Told you I was a weeb. Now, you'd think with possible lag compensation, they were also thinking of how to make aiming on the controller easier to the player. And here's one of the most interesting points of the port. There's no aim assist. No matter the distance between you and your target, you are fully in control of your crosshair. And that means that crosshair placement is just as important as it is on the PC version. With both lag compensation and analog aim, I find it's better to try and keep your crosshair a little further from where you'd normally aim to compensate for someone swinging out. But I've also found another reason why. Well, no, there is no aim assist. There is bullet magnetism. If you don't know what bullet magnetism is, the quickest rundown is your shots will steer towards a target near where you're aiming, typically in an area around the crosshair, a bit in the center. Best example would be the Halo 3 battle rifle. When your reticle is red, bullet magnetism is kicking in and shots tend to veer towards your target. Usually this isn't very aggressive though, and crosshair placement is still important, and this is especially true in how CS handles it. Here's a quick test I ran over LAN. What I find most interesting is it seems to help body shots in particular, not really headshots. I've had instances that look like the shot should have missed, but it hit even with headshots online. But this could be because of lag compensation. Even in WAN or Steam versions of old CS, shot registration can be delayed depending on server connection. I do believe this is another factor of how shotguns and SMGs feel better. Bullet magnetism is helping you land more shots, especially true with the MP5 and how good its rushdown is. Also, it feels like these people are unkillable. Lag shield is an understatement. It's like these dudes are taking fucking 30 stims, I swear to God, man. Honestly, with this game's map selection coupled with its odd netcode and just not great performance, I gotta say that CSX is probably one of the worst ways to play Counter-Strike officially, aside from those terrible Nexon versions. It's there. Like, the game is right there, but it has these odd hiccups and it makes the game just feel off. I'm really not sure why anyone would want to play this version of the game. All right. Hold on. I know I'm kind of ending the video abruptly here, but there's a reason. Honestly, I originally came at this video wanting to dunk on Xbox CS. I figured I'd get some cheap laughs out of it, call it console trash, and bish bash bosh, upload. But I found myself enamored by this version. I grew up playing Counter-Strike after all, and I've probably sunk in at least 4,000 or 5,000 hours in this game over the past 25 plus years. I played beta for the original, for Source, for CSGO. I played at internet cafes and Cal at LANs, hopped between a bunch of clans over the years, and of course I fell on and off in love with this game. Adam Freiberg has been my Steam profile picture for so long, people think it's just a picture of me in a Nip jersey. Doesn't help that we're both hefty boys though. I only really stopped playing CSGO because I didn't like the matchmaking era of Counter-Strike, and I found a bit of a new love in competitive fighting games. I miss the days of hopping between servers, finding one to call home, joining a clan, running scrims, playing ridiculous custom maps. I miss the community aspect of these games. I always kind of gazed back at Counter-Strike from a distance, even as I got deeper into fighting games, because I really love Counter-Strike. Hearing about a console CS, even back in the day, was both a big curiosity of mine and as well as a big question mark. Why the fuck would you ever play it on a controller? It makes no sense. But playing over Insignia these past few weeks, I've grown to really enjoy it. It feels raw. Yeah, but not playing on mouse and keyboard feels like being on a 13-hour flight in economy sitting between two morbidly obese Americans. And I sure as fuck hate some of these goddamn maps and the netcode and the way it looks and the way it runs and just the way it feels. But just sitting down with some dudes and playing Counter-Strike again. No AMX plugins, no Unreal Tournament sounds, no matchmaking, no ranks, just pure uncut Counter-Strike. It's so refreshing. And I'll sit and voice chat with some of these folks and they'll reminisce about the day they bought this game on Xbox something like 20 years ago. And it just makes me appreciate it all the more. This was their Counter-Strike. I even made a joke earlier about playing over X-Link Kai, like that was a negative, but a community actually did. They made custom maps and everything. They were playing this game. People love this version of Counter-Strike because it's the version they played. When I think back on my memories of playing, like CS Assault and DDoS 2, I mean, instantly what comes to mind is those old like WAN era days where, just loading into the map and it's just like that weird transition of the CS dude going up your screen and stuff, and you instantly get hit with those sounds, and that's Counter-Strike to me. But that's not Counter-Strike to some other people. And despite all its faults, this is still Counter-Strike at its heart and soul, and I can't help but appreciate it for that. Like I said, originally I came at this negatively. I was just going to bash this game, and that changed. The more I played it, the more I really respect it, and maybe it's just because of my love of Counter-Strike, but I can't just sit here and talk shit about it. It's really something beautiful. Fuck all that though, 1.3 is the best. Hey, this is post-edit Yon. Thank you very much for watching, much appreciate it. This was actually a lot of fun to put together, and I kind of want to do some more in the future, so we'll see if I actually get the time and motivation to do more. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Just wanted to say thank you to the Insignia team for Insignia. It's been a lot of fun just playing some like original Xbox games. I've been just joining around like random games and weekly events and stuff, and it's been a blast. Thank you to Lethal and Paintball there for hosting those weekly events as well for Counter-Strike. It's been great. Yeah, join us on the Insignia Discord and play some games, bro. That's a lot of fun. There's a couple more clips after this as well. That's just like stuff I couldn't fit in, but I was actually like having fun just doing some research, and I did find out a couple more things during the video, and I was like, I can't cram this back in without breaking the flow. So yeah, I'll jump into a couple other clips right after this. And again, thank you for watching, and hopefully see you next time if there is one. Bye. Okay, so for my own sanity, I decided to check out some old builds of Counter-Strike. I managed to get my hands on Beta 6, on 1.3, and 1.5, and wouldn't you know it, none of them stop the clock when you plant the bomb. And after the time runs out, the CTs win, regardless if the bomb is down or not, just like in Xbox. Now, the time does stop in 1.6, but of course, this is the latest version. It's very possible that the older builds of 1.6, this wasn't the case. For prosperity's sake, I also checked source, and yeah, it behaves what I expected as well. Now, it is possible that an older build of 1.6 still had this, and honestly, when I started talking about it, I started kind of remembering times when, you know, we get a bomb site and like realize we didn't have enough time and couldn't plant the bomb in scrims. But like I said, it's been years. This is all kind of blending together. So now I did try to dig as far as I could, but without going to some shady.ru sites, I wasn't confident in not getting a virus from picking up old 1.6 builds, so I had to stop it here. Apologize for that. The changes from 1.6, such as the Galil, the FAMAS, and the Tactical Shield, all made it into this one. Oh, speaking of the Tactical Shield, it has a weird change where it takes over your primary and just throws away your secondary, and it forces you to use a 5.7. You can't switch to your knife with the Tactical Shield out. It will just switch to your knife as normal. It's also the like Condition Zero version, so it's kind of dog shit. I guess they realized really early on that no one likes this fucking thing.